to you on another video. Before I forget, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm coming out to have this video about this guy who has always talks about AMC and how negative AMC is, and it's always going to go down. AMC is going to go down, and it's going to every single time. And it just sort of bothers me because he always brings out everything negative, and he never really talks about, and he doesn't research any of the positive or anything like that. It's easy to bring out negative stuff, I always admit that, but when you can sit there and say all this negative stuff, and I can bring out a lot of negative things about even Apple, for instance, how Apple, I think it's overrated, and I think it's going to go down with the economy. It's just my opinion. But when you see people putting their hard-earned money into something like this, and they basically are, he's basically applying that every person who invests into AMC is dumb, idiotic, stupid, blindsided. And basically, that's what I get out of it. And then he talks about Adam Aaron. Let's listen to this video, and you can hear about.
I'm only talking about investor mindset. Now, what brought me to this video is the news that came out that Adam Aaron is done selling shares for now. He said that he's going to sell shares when he turns 67, and it's going to be for estate planning, setting up his retirement, his kids, his family, and so on and so forth. And now he is finally done after selling $42 million worth of stock. He is now got a decent nest egg to retire on. Now, he does hold a hefty chunk of AMC still, and there is no sign in sight that he's going to sell this anytime soon. But I think that AMC investors, from what I see this as great bullish news. And the fact is, it's not. The top dog in a company selling shares in any circumstance is not good bullish news. And if they stop...
Let's stop there. This is where I get bothered by it. He says any top dog. Okay, let's go to, that was last year, and you can hear
tax selling. A lot of this is being driven by what I call the super sellers. Elon Musk now up to about $10 billion in sales this year, about half of that going to those options related taxes, the other half just for straight cash.
Oh my gosh, so you're saying Tesla, Amazon, Walmart, Facebook, and Google, all those companies, they are bad. Basically, why doesn't he talk about them? Why doesn't he talk about those stocks? Those stocks are big, huge companies, and he doesn't talk about one bit on those companies. All those people sold their shares. But we talk about Adam Aaron and how Adam Aaron had sold his shares. And Adam Aaron sold his shares, and he already talked about this and mentioned this months ago, and mentioned how he's going to do this. And he said, I'm planning on doing this because I'm going to be retiring soon. That is it's normal. It's yes, it is very scary, but we hear the FUD on this all the single time, and we're bringing this FUD back up. We are bringing this FUD back up on this whole video. That is just nuts. OMG. Okay, let's go on. So clearly, I guess all these big, huge companies are bad. That's what he's saying. They're bad. Bad companies. Why didn't we hear about this in other news? All these other videos. Why didn't he bring that up, huh? Okay.
100% definitely going to hit $70 again at some point. It just has to happen. And as we know from logical-minded investors, it doesn't have to happen at all. Look at Cisco Systems, which is a massive company, $250 billion. This company fell in the dot-com crash and is still a great big...
Okay. Awesome. He brings up a good point onto it has never reached up to $80 or $70, and it has to go back. AMC has to go back up to $70 because we wish it and we want that. But let's put this in this perspective. He's basically putting apples to oranges. I don't know how much was the short sales, how much we're shorting at going on at this time. And was that a short squeeze? I don't think it was a short squeeze. I haven't really looked it up, honestly, but I don't think it's a short squeeze. And this is a technology company, and that's basically you're comparing a technology company to a brick and mortar onto making a movie, releases movies. Sorry. So yeah, you're apples to oranges. That said, let's not really compare onto if you were basically comparing AMC into another movie theater, I would say, okay, you got a good point. But if you're comparing AMC onto another company that was shorted onto a 20%, and it basically didn't go anywhere, I would say you have a better scenario. Right now, you're just basically pulling up a company out of thin air, and you're basically saying, yeah, it didn't come back up. Well, you want to go in that route. That basically is the same thing as Japan. Japan in the 90s, they went up, and their S&P 500 went down. The Japan S&P 500, they are still not up there. So why don't we talk about that? That to me, I get really riled because we hear how he's always bringing up negative things. Okay, that's cool. You bring up a good point. Is it going to be guaranteed to go up to 70? No, honestly, I'm just being blunt. Nothing's guaranteed in the market. Nothing's guaranteed in life. Let's go on.
And I'm gonna blur out some of the names because I think some people are using their full name here. But this guy's called Richie, okay? And he says, I'm a single dad raising 3 daughters. I've got my whole retirement and everything else in this trade. Praying for 5 figures a share, and we would get that if it wasn't for the corruption, but I'm holding on for my family. Now, there's a few points here that I want to pick up on. First thing is, Richie, this is financially irresponsible for you to put your retirement and pretty much everything else into one company. It's
Okay. Yes, he is right on that part. Like it's not a good decision on putting everything into one basket. But let's put it this way too. In the 2008 financial crash, what happened? A lot of these people were putting money into their 401ks, and they were basically putting into these funds, and they didn't know what these funds were doing. They didn't understand. They were basically putting it in one fund only. And what happened? They lost 30%, 40% of their portfolio. And they basically were trusting these financial people. That's what he's basically saying. It's not he should be we should be trusting those people. If a person wants to go out and do this, it's their choice. It's their freedom onto doing this. If it goes up, you know what? They make a lot of money. If it doesn't, they lose a lot of money. It is pretty much buying a lottery ticket. There's people winning lottery tickets all the time. There's a guy who basically comes out and he says, I win a lot of lottery stuff. And I said, oh. And I said, how do you do that? Because I'm not into lottery. And he says, I usually buy a ticket. And he says, I buy a ticket, and that's how I win it. And basically, this is the same thing. There's people out there, and I have a lot of shares in AMC. And yes, I do have a lot of shares, and my portfolio is very much a high amount into AMC. But I took that risk. I have realized the risk onto having AMC portfolio. Now, where he's saying is basically it's unfinancial risk. If you basically put your money into the market and the market crashes tomorrow, these financial people, these gurus, they don't care. They're just going to be like, oh, whatever. They're going back and they don't get in trouble and nothing like that. They're just going to go into their highfalutin amount of money, and they don't have any risk onto it. The individual real estate person, like us, takes the risk. And when we're going to take a risk, well, why don't you take the risk on your own self? Why don't you just take the risk onto your own self and put it into something that you think it's going to happen? Now, that said, a lot of people said, well, Tesla is a risky stock. I know people that put all the money into Tesla and it went up. I know a lot of people went put all money into Google and it went up. There's risk, but there is people that get rewarded. That said, I don't like how everything is negative, and he finds a little bit of negative stuff, and he's not really getting into the details of like, oh yeah, this is what really happened. He doesn't talk about how, well, the shorts are at 20%. VW was at 10% when it had the short squeeze. Why don't we have comparing on that? That is something too. Is the short squeeze, is that a guarantee? No, it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. And he even says it could happen. That's the only thing positive he has in this video. It could happen. I'm sorry for rambling on about this stuff, but it bothers me because the market's not even open, and you were dashing it and dishing on to the AMC, and you don't even, the market's not even open. At least give AMC to go down tomorrow, I guess, and you can say, oh yeah, it was bad. I'm hoping AMC goes up, but you heard my video previously. Watch it, and I'm talking about how I think it's going to stagnate. I think we're going to have a stagnant week this whole week, and it might go down a little bit, or it might go down, but it's going to be stagnant or going down. And then that's my video. I mentioned all that stuff. And I'm basically very far invested into AMC. And here you just sit there, this guy's dissing and talking about everything. Get a little bit more detail into stuff. And if you want to rag on to other people's videos too, I can do that as well. There's another person, Warren Buffett's partner. He basically even says, I don't like investing in diversifying my portfolio. He mentions that all the time and says how he does not like to diversify his portfolio. He loves to buy just a couple stocks, 3 stocks. That's it. And he says it works out and he makes a lot of money. Something interesting. He's an odd duck, I have to admit. I'm trying to put a comment. Warren Buffett's partner, the other person Warren Buffett deals with, I forgot his name, totally forgot his name, and you're probably gonna be like, dashing me onto, ripping me onto this video. But I have to say all this stuff because these videos that come out and they're just negative, they have really not much detail on why they're negative. And that to me is, if you want to dash and like basically explain why it is going down, okay, do so. There are some people out there, they basically go into really good detail, and I think, oh, yeah, you have a really good point. This guy, he's just basically saying it's going down because it's going down. And you know what? The market makers are going to make it go down, and it sucks to be you. You lost a whole bunch of money. Sucks to be you. Ha ha ha. That's why I get out of them. That said, it definitely like this, subscribe, and definitely put it in the comments onto Warren Buffett's partner, who he is, and put in the comments about what you think about this video, and if you ever even watch this guy too. This guy definitely has some subscribers out there. And that said, peace out.